Okay, recording is started officially. Good morning, everybody. Welcome out to Market Watch Group Weekly Opening Bell. I talk about this just to make sure that I'm making this connection for when we have new folks in. We just met, right? We just finished meeting not 21 hours ago. And the only thing that's changed is we've got some futures. There's not a lot there. Sometimes there is, sometimes not. Why are we meeting? Because for me, this is an important step, first step of the week, where we move away from market posture, which is our overarching analysis of market conditions, and we move into trading posture. Market posture is always there. It's always kind of guiding us. Trading posture is more of our now what? Now what? Now what? So the reason that we're meeting the very next right before the market opens is because we have to start the week with a now what? Now what? Okay. We had a pretty good list of stocks on our focus list. So yeah, I think we've got plenty to think about, plenty to look at. As always, remember, we're not brokers, we're not advisors, we don't give advice, we don't give recommendation. This is for educational and illustrative purposes only. And today we're going to talk about opening futures and news. We've already started talking about that a little bit. It's the first week of the month, which means what? Employment data. All week long, employment data. I think we forgot to talk about the economic calendar yesterday, so we'll definitely bring that up. What else? That's it. Let's get into it. Let's get started. Let's go to the futures. What do we have? Flat. You can see we were actually pretty negative overnight. And we have battled back up to get to flat on the S&P, slightly negative on the Dow, minus 0.12, positive on the NASDAQ, 0.2, flat on the Russell, 0.06. Oil's up 1.5%. This gold chart doesn't make any sense. Let me just click on that for a second. And gold is recovered, but also still down. Okay, so let's just scan the news a little bit. Here we go. Trump's pick to run FCC, ominous sign for big tech. Jobs report. Yeah, that's really all we have, right? How Powell may have made Fed policy boring again. I'm sorry, what's the expectation for Fed policy? Excitement? Entertainment? I feel like boring is kind of where it should be. Am I wrong? Okay. Yeah. Not seeing much in there. Let's look at the news. We'll look at the Fed watch. We'll look at the futures. Okay, so today, not much. Manufacturing, construction spending. Christopher Waller, John Williams. None of that is influential. Tomorrow, job openings supposed to tick back up to 7.6 million. Even though we've come down substantially from our post-pandemic highs when it was up at like 11 million, 12 million, we're still higher or as high as we ever were prior to the pandemic. So there's still a good amount of job openings. There's still plenty of employment to be had. What else is tomorrow? We have Adriana Kugler, which I do like her name. Adriana Kugler. It's a good name. It's a solid name. It's probably I'm thinking about it, and what I've decided is it may be that I have name envy. I have very simple, plain name, 2 syllables, Scott Beck. It's like, and then you have names like Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee. What a great name, Austin Goolsbee. Amazing. Adriana Kugler. These are phenomenal names. I don't know. I like it. We have a little bit of Fed speak, a little bit of job openings on Tuesday. Minimal. Wednesday, ADP supposed to come in around 158. That's still at maintenance. I'm not concerned until I see a sub-maintenance level a couple of months in a row. I'm not concerned until just this, in the same way that I'm not concerned about weekly jobless claims until I see 3 in a row above 270,000. Until that happens, I think, it's just a blip. And it's the same thing. We whatever anyone else has said about employment and, maybe there's weakness or this or that, there hasn't been. It's held up fine. If it doesn't, then we'll have a different conversation. So Wednesday is ADP employment. We also have Jerome Powell speaking and the beige book getting announced. So this may influence the market towards the last meeting of this year. We'll see we'll look at that in a second. Good morning, Ray. Good to see you. Good morning, everybody else who's come in a little late. Glad to have you. We're just walking through this week's announcements. Thursday, not much. Jobless claims. Where are they? Back down in the low 200,000s. 215, 213. Expectations. Friday. Last month, due to hurricane activity, we had 12,000 jobs. And now the expectation is it's going to jump back to 200,000. So the question is, was it just a seasonal blip? Or is it indicative of a broader representation of employment / labor market data? I am leaning towards the first. It was a blip, a seasonal blip. And having a report come in back around 200,000 will agree. The data will agree. Unemployment would then expect to be back at 4.1. Michelle Bowman speaking. That's a pretty good. It's a fine name, Michelle Bowman. You got 2 syllables on both names. That's pretty good. But it's no Austin Goolsbee. It's no Adriana Kugler. I'm just saying. Their names are power names. They're built to advance to the top of the Fed. All right, what else do we have? Let's take a quick peek at the Fed watch. 2-1. Actually, we're closer to 1.5 to 1 now. We were 2 to 1, 1.5 to 1. Leaning towards the cut still. From you who are here, let me know if you have changed your opinion or if you still see it the same way. I am still looking for that last cut this year. I think they're going to do it. Why? Because I don't think that they're watching data, waiting to be like, okay, if this comes out on this day, we're going to do it. And if not, we're not. Right? Like, I think that when they made the decision, they're like, here's how we're going to do it. It's going to get us through the end of the year. unless we see something just astoundingly out of line. And then at the beginning of the year, we'll reassess. That's what I think. We'll see what happens. Okay. Let's take a quick gander at the futures as they turn into the live market. Trade still on. Yeah. I think you could still have positions in KKR is the trade we had. Fastenal, probably not. PLTR, I think you would still have some. We'll go through those. Clint says, I think they will, but shouldn't. Fair enough. Okay, so the market's open, slightly positive. A few trades that we're still potentially in as a group. KKR. The target is up around 165. We're close. What am I going to be doing to stay in this trade? I'm going to be changing this to a Heiken Ashi. And yeah, worst case scenario, at the end of today, I'm going to tighten my stop up to 161.15 or so. And then let's keep riding and let's see what this can do. Let me know if you're done. Right? Are you still in? Did you take some, keep some? Are you all the way out for any of these trades that we're going through? I think this still has a great chance of getting to its target. Cisco is another trade that is on. Same kind of a thing. It got up to its high here. It's not far from that. Let me get out of this. And you can see here that there's if you didn't close out all of it and you're still in some of it, I closed some prior to the Thanksgiving, and then still have some. Clint still has some. It makes sense to still have some. What was primary target is 61. Steven closed all of it before the long weekend. Okay, fair enough. Whichever way you went, you can see it looks like it may try to make a run. Our target for this full trade was 61. Is that still in range? I think it could do it. At this point, what would I be doing? I'll be continuing to tighten my stop. It's this week or not at all. So I think this looks good. It's making a move right now. Another one for us is FAST is possibly one you might be in. I shut this one down all the way. It's really kind of been in the same spot for 4 days. It's just a little less time decay. So if you're still in it and you're like, I've given it everything I can. Bob still has some for Cisco. Got it. Yeah, at a certain point, we've got to say, hey, this thing is deviating too far from the path. It's stalled at the old high. That's always our concern. I mean, it was interesting back here because it deviated, bam, and then it went. And then it got the move. And that's where we made all the money on that trade, right? Was catching that last piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yeah, it's right at that same point, actually. So, full disclosure, I've fully shut mine down already. So if it makes that move, I'm not going to catch it. I'm looking for the next piece. Anybody still have a little bit of Fastenal on? Let me know. Okay, let's look at PLTR. That's another one. Keep on keeping on, PLTR. You can do it. You can do it. Still looking to see if it can make that last little run. It can do it. I'm confident. Not me, Bob Walker says. Okay. All right, let's go take a look at the open. Market's up marginally. Nice. Good to hear it, Steven. Well done. Nice profit. Here's the market. It's up a little teeny bit. Okay. Okay. Our posture, for anyone who missed it. Here it is, as of December 1. This is important. This is the highest we've ever scored it as a group. As a group. I have seen scores higher. It's not often. But as a group, if we go back all the way back, this is our first time scoring it as a group on April 16th, 2023, with an intro score of a 3. And in 2023, during the rest of that year, we got as high as 5.75. And then we dropped into a correction. And then we got back to a 6 by December 10th. And then a 6.5 December 15th. And then it stayed there, 17th, stayed there. The rest of the year, 6.5. Pretty good score, 6.5. And that led us into a market that by February got to a 7. And it got there again in March. But that 7 was as high as we got. And it stayed pretty good. Then we dropped out. Then we're at 5s and 6. And then we drop. And here we are now. 7.25. That's monumental. It's good to know. Why? Because December cyclically is a strong month. We tend to have things like the Santa rally. Last year, we got to a 6 by December 10th. This year, we're at a 7. We got to a 6.25 by November 10th. Last year, we had a correction in October. This year, we went sideways in October. Market just took a little breather, but it didn't actually pull back. Right? What does that mean? It means that we've got strength in our conditions. We had a decisive election. The market only cares about the fact that it was decisive and smooth. It doesn't really care. I mean, maybe it does a little bit. But it's all of these things, the Fed, accommodative, all wins at our back. And that's representative of this 7.25. So what does that mean as we move from this market posture of 7.25 into trading posture? It means I'm willing to get chips on the table as much or more than ever, right? I'm at max risk. Whatever your max risk is, I'm willing to be there. I'm even willing for it to bleed over a little bit. We have 5 growth sectors that are very strong. We have another 5-ish, depending on how you characterize sectors. Different places do it a little differently, anywhere from 8 to 12. So we'll call 10 average. So what does that mean? It means that if I'm willing to have, let's say, 14 to 16% risk at 1% per, that's 14 to 16 trades that I'm willing to have on. Well, I can't have one trade per group, per sector. I'm going to have two or three. If I have two or three per sector, I'm going to be around 12 trades. If I have another 3 or 4 trades that are just one-offs from other sectors or things that I'm watching, then I'm around 15 trades. I think it's important to have these conversations. We do risk management, and we're like, okay, I'm going to have my risk parameters, my overall portfolio heat is defined, and I'm going to have my risk per trade defined. But it's like, how do you translate that into what I'm looking for? My market posture should say, hey. Now, what it doesn't mean is that I should go try to get 15 trades and get them on as soon as I can. It means that I have a willingness to put on a good number of trades. So as I see a signal, come and give me a signal, I'm not going to be like, well, I've already got one in that group. Okay, now I have 2. And when I have 2 and another signal comes along, I'll be like, oh, okay, now I have 3. For my big 5, technology, financials, industrials, communication services, consumer discretionary. I almost forgot that one. I'm like, well, what is it? Consumer discretionary. Those, yeah, you're going to have 2 or 3, 4, possibly, right? So it's important for you to have expectations. Otherwise, how are you deciding? Like, what trades, where, how many? If we don't let that come from our market posture, that has us saying, hey, we have a pretty good idea how much risk, how many trades, where those trades should be, in what distribution. It's asset allocation. It's risk management. Is it diversification? I guess kind of like we're diversifying into different trades, right? But overall, you're not really diversifying for market risk. You're in the market and you're willing to be in the market heavy with a heavy footprint. Why? Because these are our conditions. Right? If you're a fisherman, it's like this is it. This is everything you like. The lake is empty. It's early. The weather's perfect. It's quiet. Like whatever it is, these are your conditions. So, yeah, okay. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Let's go look at our watch list. I flagged a number of these, a pretty heavy number, for my focus list. I'm going to just copy and paste that for anyone who hasn't seen it, but that's always in the summary recaps. Let's see how this comes across. Is it going to let me post? No, it doesn't let me post it, does it? Son of a gun. Why can't I post? That seems unfair. All right, never mind. We'll just go through it. We'll go through it. I had flagged some of these, and then I threw away my note card. Which, I got to go find it, because those were the ones that were more in setup mode. Apple. No one said that they stuck with this. We took a stab at Apple. Popped up. We got in. It made this move. And then it dropped back. And I think I made money on Apple, if I remember correctly. But I lost patience. I'm like, this thing's not going in. And then it turned. And then it pulled back. And then it's just grinding. And then all of a sudden, boom, it made beyond the move that we were looking for back when we first got this signal. Anybody stay with it? Let me know. I did not. What am I looking for now? I like it. It just made a new high. Of course I like it. It's up here. Just did this. Now what? Let's wait for this to come back down and actually give us a setup. When that comes, I'll be licking my chops, ready to go. Until that time, I'm a spectator. So here's what we just did. for me for Apple. Knowing what we just analyzed, how long will it take us to analyze Apple tomorrow? I drew a picture. It's got to pull back. Does it have to pull all the way back to the 50? No, but it's got to at least give me a flag. 3 days, right? 2 to 3 days. This is not going to magically turn into a trade in a day. Tomorrow, when I look at it, if it's not pulling back, it's like, not yet. It takes me all of 5 seconds to look at that and be like, it's not there yet. 5 seconds. I don't have to reanalyze Apple. I mean, I talk about it because someone may not have seen it. But when you're on your own and you're walking through and you're not just like, is it good? No? Okay, I'll come back. It's not just, is it good? When will it be good again? Define it. What are you looking for? Because when we do that and then we see it do this, we're like, oh, I'm in front of this thing. It's doing exactly what I was expecting. And when it gets here and turns, you're like, okay, that's exactly what I was expecting. Well, that's a nice way to enter a trade. Having expectations met, right? You're feeling like you're seeing things clearly. That's a great way to go, I promise. Okay, Aflac. Okay, there's that pullback we were talking about, right? Made that move. There's that at least 2-day pullback. So it's in the zone. It could come all the way down to here and turn, valid. It could come to here, turn, valid. It could break out of the flag, valid. This is in setup mode. Now it's just a matter of waiting to see what's setting up. We don't know yet, but it's there. Would I expect more financials? Yes. Amazon. We were already too high. We're higher still. This one's wait and see. AppLovin, wait and see. Actually, I think I defined this one. I said, well, it's choppy, but you got kind of a pennant formation. Broke out of it on Friday. Turned up on this stochastic. So I guess you could make an argument for this, but that sucker is way extended already, which makes it harder to want to enter late. AXP, overextended, needs a pullback. It's got a minor one. I mean, it's kind of stalled. A little flag starting to show up. I think I'd be looking for more. Maybe at least back to the old resistance. If really, we don't need it to come back to the 50 to be valid. That's for sure. I just tend to look at that as a reference point. BAC, setting up, right? It's in this consolidation. Could be more. Could be ready. BK, same thing. BX, absolutely the same thing. This one more so. We've pulled back. We're holding up here. We're looking for this to cross. So, we're still a day or two away. Looking for something like that to tell us it's time. Carrier. They had a good open, but it's still kind of, if I were to draw it, I see it like this. Right? It's opened above, but it's still in that range. We need it to do something different than what we see there for us to be interested. Caterpillar, no, but maybe soon. CLS, this was our first one where we're like, ooh, hey, look at that. Now, at the end of, like right now, it doesn't look good, but let's say at the end of the day, it turns back into a bullish candle. That could be the turn. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on this one. That's borderline looking for an entry. CMG, not yet, but setting up. New high, little flag pullback. CNK, that was last week. We talked about it, but we didn't put the alert on. That was where we had the turn. Coherent. Coherent looks valid. What's the setup? It's kind of in a triangular pattern right now. So you're trading in the triangle with the expectation that it's going to break the triangle now. You're anticipating that. What would make us be like, why would you anticipate that? Do you just think Coherent's so great? Nope. I think the market is. Yeah? I think the market is. That's where the 7 comes in. That's where, when you have like these little decisions that are like, oh, what do you think? Well, I'm a 7. If I was a 4, I'd be like, no, I'm not trying it. But at a 7, well, that's a horse of a different color, my friends. Okay. Sorry, I haven't looked at the chat lately. Is everyone talking, not talking? Is it quiet this morning? Does everyone have enough coffee? I don't. Still in Apple, Miguel says. Good morning, Miguel. Good to see you. I didn't know if you had said something earlier or not. Still in Apple, Titan stop. You sons of guns with your patience staying in Apple. Look at you. Love it. Loving it. Okay. Oh, speaking of loving it, McDonald's. My daughter ran the search, made sure that the Eagle Mountain McDonald's had the McRibs, and so I was able to satisfy. I think what it was they didn't want me to get one when we were in London. I'm like, oh, they have them in London. Don't worry, everybody. And they look at me like I'm crazy, and I look at them like they're crazy. That was a family moment. And they're like, well, can you just get it here? And I'm like, I don't know. Someone will have to find out for me. So my daughter did, and they had it. She ordered it. McRib craving satisfied. I'm good till next year. Okay. Coherent is a yes, I think. Cisco, come on, Cisco, trying to do its thing. Delta, still kind of just sitting there, but it still looks intriguing, right? The sellers have had plenty of time to pull back, and this thing just won't drop below mid 62, right? Here's the Dow, overextended, DocuSign. We liked DocuSign. What's the problem? Earnings are on Thursday. You just don't have a lot of time before that major binary event upcoming that is likely to have a significant influence, right? Okay. Fast and all. Yeah. I think most people have exited this already. Is anyone still in this one? I'm trying to remember if anyone still has this or not. But yeah, you can see it's struggling. It's rolling, but it did something like that last time. Although this time it doesn't have an election to help give it a little boost. So let me know if you're in it. Keep us posted what you do with it. I would imagine at the very, very least, you probably have tightened up your stop at this point. You should have something to show for it. FI on a pullback. Flex. Ooh, that's one that had a star. Right? That's definitely one that had a star. Setting up very, very close to a signal. Bitcoin's popping around a little bit. GE Vernova, that's another one that was on our list. Another one that today is giving us the potential setup vibes, trigger vibes. Gold's pulled back. GM. I gotta say, I'm sort of not getting trigger vibes, but setup vibes. Google, no, not for me yet. Goldman, no, overextended. Home Depot, overextended. A lot of these we still need to be patient with, right? HWM, IBM. IBM, put it on the list, though. We've got that beautiful new high. We're consolidating. I could see this consolidate all the way back to the 50 or to 220. And at that point, what do we have? Well, this move from 205 to 230, that's a 25-point move. So if we get down at 220, I think we could break highs and get up here to 245. I'm definitely bullish on that. Absolutely. International Papers set up. Even in basic materials there. Look at that. Beautiful. It wasn't a huge new high, but it got to a new high. And now what? As long as this thing stays above 56, higher high, higher low. Let's go. Small caps pulling back a little today. JCI just stalled out. JCI never really did much. Great earnings, then it just sort of couldn't get going. KKR. Oh, KKR. Come on. Come on. You want to go higher still. Come on. You can do it. MasterCard a little overextended, rolling over. If I see the whole group roll, obviously I'm going to be like, there's the end for KKR. And then I'll get ready for another trade. Right? You can see it across the group. It's very hard. KKR actually did manage to go higher for a few extra days when the rest of the group had pulled back prior to this. But, let's just be mindful of what's happening from a group level. Meta looks pretty good. I never gave a good signal. It was too sideways, but that looks pretty good. Morgan Stanley, Microsoft, MicroStrategy. As I said, I think that's a setup. You're waiting for a trigger, but you better have a good stomach. That's a shark frenzy. Volatility's through the roof. It got up to over 200%. We're only at 163 now, but that's still really high comparatively to where it's been. Be mindful of that. NASDAQ starting to pull back. Netflix gave a signal last week, but it's an expensive stock. That's a tough one. Nvidia, valid. If this holds, that's valid. Put it on the list. 100%. Bouncing off the 50, new entrant to the Dow. Palantir. Come on, Palantir. Palantir should have a theme song. It's a good name. PayPal on a small consolidation. I would definitely look to trade this. I didn't trade last one. I took other financial trades, but I would still be willing to take a different one. I like that. Qs are moving well today. Roblox, valid. In fact, even a day late at this point, I'd probably take this to the Heiken Ashies. It was a good signal on Friday. I was Black Friday shopping. Otherwise, I probably would have put that out. Anyone see that? We identified it. Reddit a little less so. It's given a signal. It's a bullish day, but a red candle. That's a hard one. Those are both valid. Rocket Labs, overextended. Giving it back today. C Limited, overextended. No. Southern, pulling back on utilities. SoFi, pulling back. SPY, sideways. 60260. How does our calendar look? Oh, I forgot to relog in. Sorry, I can't look at that one today. Son of a gun. Tegna looks great. Great setup. It didn't get a new high last time, but the trend is still good. I have no problem with that. If we miss one high, I'm okay with that. TJX, it's overextended. T-Mobile pulling back. If you traded it, you profited. You're probably shutting down and you're getting ready for the next one. Toast, now I notice this everywhere I go, paying. Toast is a payment processor. but it's on a pullback, so not much there right now. Tesla. If you like Tesla, you might see that as ready to go. I don't. TSM. Look at TSM. Making a move, but I like NVIDIA better. TTD. That's viable. That's a flag. That's breaking a flag. Twilio. Same thing. Breaking a flag. Upwork. No. Overextended. Dollar. Bullish dollar. Strong. There's nothing really there for us, though. Bill Reinhart still in fast. Yeah, I mean, Bill, you're giving it good patience, and that was the only way we made money on it last time. Is you had to sit through a little bit of it. I get it. This is the kind of market where patience should be shown. Yeah, I don't fault you for that at all. Stephen D says trade on NVIDIA. Love it. Looking for flex, press, right? Press definitely, flex is looking good. NVIDIA is looking. We got signals today. We've got triggers. There's a very good chance I put an alert out. 100%. So if you're thinking to yourself, hey, I think I see some things. I agree. I think you do. Right? The VIX, a little bit of a uptick. Overall, it's still well down. Still down in the 13s. There's nothing concerning about that at all. VRT, like GE Vernova, those mini nuclears, that looks fantastic. That looks like it's just knocking on our door. It's knocking. Excuse me, sir, do you have room for another trade in there? And I'm like, look around behind me. I'm like, yeah, I sure do. Come on in. Come on into the party. Visco, Victoria's Secret, overextended. Earnings coming up. Not much we can do with that. Walmart, overextended. Not much we can do with that. Okay, a quick peek through the sectors. XLB, materials, pulling back, a little overextended. Communication services, they look great. If you're still in it, great. There's some new trades starting in there. It's an interesting one because it's big ones. Google and Meta are so big, but the other stocks are looking pretty good in that. Energy is down. Financials is overextended, pulling back. That's kind of giving me some information for my KKR trade. Yeah. Industrials, overextended, pulling back. Some of this is telling us to be patient. Technology looks like it wants to try to pop. Some of this is telling us to move forward. That's actually one of the qualities about this market is it's not like sometimes you have feast or famine markets where it's like everything's given a signal or nothing's given a signal. And it's like you get one window for a day or two and that's it. But here we're getting leapfrogged windows. It's not that it doesn't have that type of quality about it. Staples had a bit of a pop, but it's overextended, pulling back now. Utilities, a big pullback today, down 2%. Healthcare, still overall down. Consumer discretionary, looking continuously stronger. And Zillow, put it on the list. It's in a flag. Once it starts flagging, we start considering it, and there you go. All right. Woo! We got through it. CLS, put it on the list, 100%. Janet says, what about Square? Well, we liked Toast, so I have to imagine. Ooh. Honestly, I'm too late now. Janet, great recognition. Everything about that. Momentum here, right? It has the overall trend accelerating. We got to a new high. It had a pullback. If you were watching this, you're like, yes, I am licking my chops, ready for this thing to turn. What's the problem? The problem is it gapped on entry, And at this point, you're literally, if I was building this trade, I'd be like, maybe I'll take some profit around 95. Take profit at 95, not enter at 95. Like, there's just times where by the time we get the entry, you're like, holy crap, I just confirmed myself out of the trade because that entry just went too far. So I think the stock looks fantastic. What could you do with something like this? I could put my stop around, let's say, 89 and a quarter. I'm still $5 away. So the question is, if I'm going to risk 5, I want 10. Do I think this thing can get to 104? Yeah, I mean, it's made some pretty fast moves. So as long as you can get 2 to 1, you can still make the argument for this trade. I have a hard time. Like, my cutoff is like 2%. If it's like more than 2% on my entry day, I'm like, God, I feel like I just snatched that from me. And I tend not to take it. So at 6%, I'm like, Anyway, how about CLS? 100% CLS. Let me cancel this. And let me go here. CLS. CLS looks fabulous. Right? It's a doji today. This is still holding on. Your stochastics has turned and pinched. It hasn't crossed, but it's pinched. It's a bullish day above yesterday. If it looked like this is the argument is there. This is a valid signal, right? I would not likely put my stop below this low, but probably more in this arena below the bodies here. And that puts my risk here because I'd probably end up with a reward maybe, up in this area somewhere. And you can see that looks like about a 3 to 1, right? Something like that. Thinking I can catch this. Very similar to this move and even this move. Even this move. That's 4 in a row. I just want the 5th one. So Bob Rowland, how about it? Amen. Amen. All right. Yeah, it's good. Market's good. We have setups. We have some things that are overextended. We have some things that are setting up. I'm looking for trades. I think you're looking for trades. I'm looking to continue with trades I have. Santa Rally, here we come. Ho, ho, ho. Thoughts, questions, concerns? We are going to meet tonight for just a chit chat. Anyone who wants to come, I think we'll do it. It'll end up like on a Zoom this evening. So join us for the happy hour. Let me know if you're thinking about it so I can know how many we're planning on. Yeah, I think we'll see triggers. I think all is what it should be. I'm certainly looking. Right? I'm open and looking for signs that this market is running hot or something. But overall, right now, all is well. So, looking forward to chatting with you guys later. It's good to see everybody. I'm going to wrap it up, turn off the stream. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. As always, happy trading.